organisms are organised, and they're differing levels of complexity. At the very smallest, we have an organelle. And organelles, as we know, have specific functions to carry out within the cell, and these can be things like mitochondria or chloroplasts. This isn't needed necessarily for the IGCSE Cambridge course. They start at cell. So the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of a living organism. When you get lots of cells working together on a specific function, where they have a shared function and the cells are similar, we call that a tissue. When lots of tissues come together, well, I say lots, you can have like 3 or 4 tissue layers or just 2 or 3 different tissue layers. They work together for another specific function, and that is an organ. And then when we put lots of different organs together, we end up with something called an organ system. And then when we put all of the organ systems together, we end up with an organism. And as we know, an organism is a living thing. So let's look at a specific example. We've got a stomach here. So this is the stomach. You don't have to worry about any of the details around the outside. It's just for illustrative purposes. So you can see that we've got these cells here, which make up the epithelium. Now, the epithelium is normally a lining tissue, and on the epithelium, we have glandular cells or mucous cells. You don't need to know this in any detail at all. And they secrete hormones and mucus into the stomach. So they're similar cells carrying out similar functions. And they are in a layer just here. Now, because they carry out the specific function, this is a tissue. So here we've got the tissue layer of the mucosa. Now, underneath we've got the muscularis layer here. Now, for all intents and purposes, we just need to know this as a muscle layer. So what you've got is, in this particular example, it's a straightforward example. You've got 2 tissue layers, say, one here, the mucosa, and the muscle layer, carrying out different functions. Now, because you've got 2 different tissue layers carrying out different functions, they come together to form an organ. And as we know, the stomach has a specific function, which is to start digesting proteins and kill any bacteria or pathogens entering the stomach with the stomach acid, amongst other functions as well. So let's put this into some organisation. So we've got the cells involve glandular, epithelial cells. A glandular cell is a secreting cell. An epithelial cell is any type of cell which it forms up a layer on the outside of something. The tissues, the mucosa, which we saw in the diagram just there, and a muscular layer. Now, these tissues come together to make a stomach, which has a specific function. Of course, when we put a stomach together with the ileum, the large intestine, the liver, the pancreas, the colon, etc., we've got different organs there. We make up an organ system, and that's going to be the digestive system. And then when we put all the different systems together, such as the cardiovascular system, the urinary system, the digestive system, the nervous system, and get them all together, we end up with a living thing, which is an organism.